Welcome to the online digital education of the initiative of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, and as a part of that we are going to start or continue with the lecture series on VLSI technology, and today's topic is epitaxial growth. Now, like in the first introductory lecture, I had given you the idea about what is exactly the epitaxy, what is the meaning of epitaxy, and what exactly is how it is different from the normal film deposition. Today, we are going to study the vapor film epitaxy or vapor phase epitaxy, how it works. Then, what is the equipment? There are 3 sets of equipments based on the based on the design or the like yield you want out of this particular epitaxy. Those 3 equipments we are going to study. At the end of this particular lecture, I expect you to know the entire vapor phase epitaxy process. Then I expect you to discuss the equipment. There are different categories, like 3 types of equipments what we are going to study, and the safety norms which are to be taken into account while handling this particular process. So, let us go ahead with the vapor phase epitaxy. Now, as you know, there are 3 basic things in any epitaxial growth process you need to take into account. While studying the growth kinetics, we have seen these 3 things. One is you need to take care of the inflow of the gas, that is the gas flowing or the inlet, through inlet, the rate at which the gas flow is happening or the rate at which the gas flow or gas is introduced onto the wafer. Now, once this gas is introduced onto the wafer, there are 2 things. The gas will get deposited onto the wafer substrate in the same orientation as that of the substrate atoms are, like the similar manner, that is the adsorption will take place. And secondly, you need to take into account or you need to take care of the post reaction, whatever residues are there, that is excess of gas, you need to make it flow, because the kinetics will be totally dependent on the way in which, the manner in which it is being happening. So, whenever you need to whatever deadsorbed material or residual products are there, you need to ensure that they are getting removed from the furnace, and therefore once these 3 things are to be taken into account, there are 3 basic systems through which the epitaxial growth is being taken into consideration. One is chemical vapor deposition, in which we are going to see VPE, which is the subset. Chemical vapor deposition is basically, as the terminology, broad spectrum used for all the film deposition processes. Now, here vapor phase epitaxy is specific to epitaxial growth process, and therefore it is subset of CVD. Then there is something known as molecular beam epitaxy, which is very high end process, and third one, liquid phase epitaxy, which is not used or not suitable for silicon, but since it is epitaxial growth process generally used for heteroepitaxial growth, we will see that also. I will give you introduction to that also as a part of our epitaxy. Now, what are the different originators or how this particular growth is initiated, what are the basic things or what are the basic ingredients or starters, you can say, which initiate this particular process. So, there are 4 basic materials which are used: silicon tetrachloride, silane, dichlorosilane and trichlorosilane. Now, please remember, these are all basically chlorine related components or chlorine related things which are essentially used in VPE, and therefore, the byproduct which is being produced is HCl, and which is hazardous. You need to drive away that product immediately, otherwise that will have different consequences in the epitaxial growth process. We will see that as a part of our what you call VPE chamber and other things, but prior to that, these are the, just remember that out of these 3 we are going to see this again in the next lecture, when to select which particular type of what you call originator or which is the most ideal material as far as your silicon growth is concerned. So, please remember, this is the most ideal material which is widely used, because it is giving you best yield as far as your process is concerned, epitaxial growth process is concerned. Now, efficiency of growth process is basically defined based on the number of atoms which are deposited onto the substrate with respect to number of atoms which were there in the phase or the gas phase which is introduced into the chamber. So, maximum yield you get as far as this particular growth process is concerned, and therefore, this silicon tetrachloride maximum efficient material it is, and therefore, that is the most recommended material as far as your silicon epitaxy is considered. Now, we need to know what is the growth kinetics. Unless and until you bring it down to your mathematical domain or modeling domain, you need to know, like if you want to control the reaction, you must know what all is happening into the particular chamber. Now, please understand, the gas is being allowed to flow onto the material, and when you have this wafers lined up over here, gas is introduced from here. Now, this gas is going to have a flow over the wafers. Now, this flow is going to be, please remember here you are having certain velocity v, and when it approaches onto the wafer, it is slightly, this velocity is going to get degraded slightly, there is going to be a stagnant layer getting formed, and because of which the adsorption or the layer formation is going to happen. So, unless and until you know what exactly is happening within this, that is V initially was high, how this V is getting reduced, and you need to know what exactly is the material, what exactly is the phenomena happening, and therefore, you must know all these things, because this will give you the boundary conditions, boundary layers, how these three parameters are controlling, that is concentration of the gas, temperature and pressure. So, with respect to these three, three are the controlling parameters, three dependencies, how these dependencies behave within the horizontal chamber, you must know, and therefore, this particular concept is introduced over here. Now, any fluid mechanism of the gas flow is represented in the form of Re, which is a dimensional parameter, and that is known as Reynolds number, and it is given by dr rho into V divided by mu, where this is the diameter of the chamber, V is the velocity with which the gas is getting introduced, rho is the density and mu is the viscosity. Now, with this concept, with this first equation, let us go ahead. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is the diagram which is giving you the dependencies of all the three parameters, that is concentration profile, velocity and temperature. Now, all these three parameters, how they behave within the particular chamber, how the profile is getting created, and that profile understanding will give you the idea of controlled epitaxial growth onto the wafer substrate. And therefore, we need to know along the axis, along this particular thing, what is this y, that is the thickness of the boundary layer which is getting formed within the chamber with when the gas is introduced with velocity v is directly proportional to diameter of the chamber, the distance travelled divided by Reynolds number, and this is basically raised to the power 1 by 2, that is under root drx upon Reynolds number. Now, if you name this equation as 1, with this there is introduction of the gas flow, but when this gas is coming over the substrate, the concentration gradient with which it is travelling over along the distance y and the constant with which it is getting deposited or getting absorbed, getting diffused onto this particular wafer substrate, that is denoted by this constant d. So, this density or the flow, density flow with which it is introduced along the concentration gradient, where Ng is the concentration of the reactant in the gas and Ns is the surface reactant concentration. Now, this is concentration gradient, and this concentration gradient is and that is getting introduced. This is minus sign, you have to have, because it will give you the idea about this particular. So, it is against the concentration it is flowing. So, from higher concentration to lower concentration it is flowing, and this is what exactly is the equation which is denoting the flow with which the gas is rising onto the wafer. Now, once it arises onto the wafer, there is adsorption happening, and this adsorption or this particular deposition is at the rate, okay, constant of deposition is called Ks, okay, chemical reaction rate which is happening, and this is the surface concentration. So, number of atoms present on the surface ready to react will decide the deposition rate. Now, depending upon that your deposition is happening. Now, under balanced condition you want all these three things to be under equilibrium, therefore, we equate them, and when we equate them and solve it for Ns, for example, if I put the value of y over here, if I substitute the value of Ns over here, I get the equation for Ns as Ns is equal to Ng divided by 1 plus Ks y divided by d. Now, this Ks, okay, y divided by d, okay, this particular equation, okay, this particular Ks divided by d or d by y I call it, this is the constant, Ks is the constant. So, d by y is often called as gas phase master transfer coefficient Hg. Now, this Hg is very important, because now if you want me to derive that, I can just 2 minutes I can show you. This is Js is equal to Ns, okay, into Ks. Now, if this I equate with, okay, d into Ng minus Ns divided by y. Now, if I equate them, I will get Ns is equal to just simply, so Ns will be equal to 1 plus, just see, Ns will come this side. So, this will become dNg minus dNs, this is y times Ns into Ks. Now, if I substitute this will give me Ns and this will give me Ng, okay, Ng divided by 1 plus what we got here, K times dy, same thing what we have, okay. So, same, this is simple equation what we are going to get over here. Now, please understand why we need to consider. So, this reaction happening in the chamber, you must ensure that it is within the boundary conditions or within the, like, it is uniformly happening, because please understand these wafers which are placed on this particular thing, there is a laminar flow. Now, there is one more thing which I forgot to tell you. I here mentioned that this particular value of Re is around 100 to 2000. Now, why I am calling it 100 to 2000? Because this Reynolds number is deciding the flow. Now, if it is less than 2000, I call that flow as a laminar flow. If it is higher than 2000, it is called as a turbulent flow, and you do not want turbulent flow, you want laminar flow, so that you have uniform epitaxial growth, and therefore, this value is normally kept around 500, so that we can control it very well. Now, we want entire wafer deposition to happen within this layer itself, and therefore, whenever I am introducing my wafers within this particular chamber, I will ensure that my holder is having an inclination, and this tilted holder will hold all my wafers, so that there is uniform layer getting formed or epitaxial growth is uniform, and therefore, the design of wafer holder is intentionally done in an horizontal chamber in a tilted manner, so that my boundary conditions or my boundary layer is, okay, my deposition is within that boundary layer, it is within that particular what you call controllable what you call parameters within this particular range, so that the epitaxial what you call efficiency is attained or the growth is properly attained. Now, as I told you, there are three factors, one is flow, one is temperature, another is pressure. Now, please understand, since the efficiency is dependent on number of atoms deposited to number of atoms which are introduced. So, now please understand, the gas which is getting introduced is also expensive. So, you do not want to lose out on that particular front also. So, whenever you are going for manufacturing on a large scale, you have to have good yield, and therefore, you need to have efficient deposition, and therefore, you cannot afford to have high concentration getting introduced also. Similarly, you have to have, there are different other parameters also. So, process control parameters, I told you it is the reaction temperature, wafer temperature, the concentration of or the reaction concentration, the sequence in which the wafers are being introduced to the chemical or gases which are getting deposited, then the pressure and the temperature of the carrier which is coming or introducing those dopants or those particular depositing species into the onto the wafer. Equipment design parameters include the safety of the operator, the reliability of the process, reproducibility of the process, automation, convenience of the operator, loading and unloading of the wafers, because every loading and unloading will introduce contamination. Similarly, there is one more thing, you must have in situ cleaning feasible, you must have in situ cleaning possible. Now, what does that mean? Whenever wafers are getting introduced, prior to deposition, prior to epitaxial growth being introduced, you must be able to, there should be a possibility with which you should be able to clean the wafer surface also, because any contamination on the surface will get introduced into the epitaxial growth. So, all these control systems, all these are gas supply, gas flow, exhaust, wafer carrier automation, all these play a very important role as far as your designing of the equipment is concerned. And therefore, okay, so therefore, you need to know the overall reaction that is happening within the furnace is, I told you, silicon, okay, this is silicon tetrachloride in gaseous form, okay, reaction with hydrogen gives you Si solid and 4 HCl. Now, this HCl is corrosive in nature, hazardous in nature, and therefore, to handle this, these are the main safety precautions or cautionary things which are taken into consideration are, this is very what you call hydrogen has got very explosive nature as well as fire potential. So, you must ensure that the driving away this HCl has to be very cautiously done. Secondly, there is corrosive nature of the material, that is HCl. So, what is this particular whatever your furnace is, it is RF heated and it is cold walled furnace, not the hot walled furnace. It is never resistive heating being introduced. So, the cold walled furnace will have deposition onto the furnace and rather than on wafers. So, resistive heating will have the deposition on the wafer rather than your cold wall. So, therefore, you must have RF heating being like this is one of the preferred heating mechanism which is being introduced, and therefore, your susceptor which is being designed must be chemically inert, as we have seen in our Joukrawski crystal growth. Reactivity, you need minimum contamination. So, naturally, the susceptor support also should be strong, stable, and therefore, graphite susceptor with carbon blank coating is normally preferred for this particular purpose. Now, this is what is the overall reaction what I have told you. RF lamps are used for heating, so that temperature is maintained uniform, gas flow with controlled what you call laminar flow, controlled pressure, controlled temperature is introduced into the chamber. Wafer loader will load the wafers, and then that they will be allowed to, that gas will be allowed to deposit onto the wafer substrate, and then residues will be thrown away, driven away, dislodged, and this is what is the process. So, hydrogen carrier first purges the reactor, okay, this particular the reactor will it will be cleaned with the hydrogen purging, then heated to 1000 to 1200 degrees centigrade. Normally, it is less than that. So, around 1000 degrees centigrade just for 3 minutes. That then reduced, the temperature is immediately reduced for the stabilization time, and then silicon source, and if you want to introduce dopant. So, along with dopant, those what you call the growth, like whatever epitaxial growth you want to carry on, that source will be introduced. Once the source is introduced, the growth will be dependent on the dopant, and flows are eliminated usually, and whatever the power is shut off, and the residual things will be driven away once the reactor cools to the ambient temperature. The hydrogen gas is replaced with nitrogen gas, and the reactor will be opened, so that the like explosivity of hydrogen can be handled carefully. Now, in order to handle, or in order to have ensure the proper what you call deposition of the epitaxial growth or epitaxial layer, you need to have, I told you, there is specific design constraint or design as far as your furnace is concerned. So, this is the horizontal furnace where your dopant gas is introduced parallel to the wafer. Here your wafers are placed and at the tilted position, so that the boundary conditions are met. This is within the boundary condition what we have studied, and based on that your tilted angle, so that there will be uniformity of the deposition. This is known as vertical chamber. Please understand, here either the gas is introduced from the top or bottom, but here it is a perpendicular. Please understand, here it is in perpendicular direction as compared to here it is in parallel, it is normal to the wafer direction. And this is also a variant of your horizontal reactor, where you are having a tilted kind of thing. You have a holder which has got grooves onto it, and within these grooves your wafers are placed, and then again in the same, it is a modification of horizontal reactor, where you are having multiple or batch processing is being done, where multiple wafers are positioned onto the barrel and uniform growth is ensured on the wafers which are placed. This is the RF heaters which are introduced, and the gas will be either introduced from a top or from the bottom, and this is how laminar flow will be ensured and the deposition will happen onto the. So, these are the three different reactor designs which are mostly used. Here this is okay, this is having advantage that growth, like you do not have the boundary conditions and other features which are limiting or restricting, you do not have any inclination or something like that. So, this is better as far as the deposition rate is concerned, but number of wafers are limited which can be placed at one instant of time, or at one time whatever process deposition can happen will be limited. Whereas here, excuse me, whereas here you have a batch processing possible. So, number of wafers can be more, and therefore, this is commercially most viable design. So, let us compare these three. This is a horizontal reactor, this is a displacement type gas flow. Overall gas velocity is 30 to 70 centimeter per second. Gas inlet flow and exhaust pressure is no major impact. Wafer and wall placing, tilt angle has a major impact on the deposition rate, it is comparatively less expensive. This is cylindrical or barrel type, gas flow is same, gas mixing complex flow path, local downwards 40 to 70 centimeters per second, and average is 10 to 20 centimeter per second. Tilt angle is fixed, gas inlet and wafer wall placement, exhaust pressure, major adjustment parameter, and not suitable for extended operation above 1200 degree centigrade. Whereas vertical reactors are the best one as far as your surface, no major concern of tilt angle, no major concern of this one. Only thing is you have limited number of wafers that can be grown, like on which the epitaxial growth can be happen, like that can happen. That is a mixed flow system. Radial gas flow, normal gas flow is normal to the wafer, and therefore there is no major concern of wall placement. Vertical wafer, you need not have to go for vertical like alignments, or you do not have to take care of any deposition onto the wall, and no worries of your boundary conditions. So, this is as far as your, but it is slightly expensive, it is slightly expensive. So, mostly this is the one which is largely used. All the commercial applications use the cylindrical or barrel type, because you need to go for large scale manufacturing. So, before we end, let us recap or give a recap to the design aspects and the relationship between the NS and NG. Now, this relationship between NS and NG is important, because this is giving you the boundary conditions of the what you call laminar flow which is happening within the furnace. Now, unless and until you know the limits within which the flow is uniform, within which there is a controlling ability or precise control can be attained as far as your what you call how the velocity is getting changed, how this particular laminar flow is getting deviated when it is passing over the wafers, you must design your chamber accordingly. And therefore, this is very important. This is very important because this is giving you the idea about how this epitaxial growth is happening within the chamber. And based on this particular 3 parameters, we as you know already, silicon is very fragile material. So, you have to handle it very carefully, and therefore, whenever you are, if the rate of growth is also very fast, the crystalline orientation will get deferred, there will be misalignment, and therefore, you have to be very careful, very cautious while this epitaxial growth is happening or epitaxial growth is taking place within the chamber. And therefore, this what you call 3 parameters, these 3 parameters are very essentially to be understood. And based on these parameters only, we are having the 3 different furnaces. Again, I am telling you, this horizontal furnace improvised version is your barrel design. Improvised version of horizontal furnace is your barrel design. You can say you have got batch processing ability possible, and since batch processing will be giving you better yield, you have got multiple wafers can be together exposed or allowed to have epitaxial growth. This is particular method is most recommended method as far as your commercial applications are concerned. Whereas, this particular method where you are having vertical alignment of the gas flow, the gas flow is normal to the wafer substrate. Now, since it is normal, there are no boundary conditions involved, there is no distance or separation from the wall, other features are being incorporated. Only limitation in this case is this is slightly expensive material process because you need lot of specifications involved in the design. Secondly, it has got limited set of wafers which it can